When a person becomes Hokage, there are many tough decisions that person has to make, because the choices they arrive to during troublesome times, they can affect more than just their own conscience. Send the wrong team out on a mission and it fails, it could result in some of the members getting seriously harmed or even dying. Misread the situation before assembling the team, and it could do more harm to the reputation of the feudal lord who bankrolls the village, or even worse, another feudal lord can order their kage to declare war on your nation. So many small factors go into the equation for making the decisions that have mountain-sized implications. Even for Kakashi, who was Hokage during the blank period, which many fans incorrectly assume was during a time of peace, when in reality, the transition to the peaceful era that Naruto walked into as Hokage, it took quite a few speed bumps to get to, like the situation in today's newest After Naruto Shippuden video, where we have what I strongly believe is the second hardest decision Kakashi had to make as Hokage. For those of you guys who are new, After Naruto Shippuden is a series on the channel where we take a look at stories and events that occur during what Naruto fans commonly refer to as the blank period, set between the 14-year time skip between Naruto chapter 699 and chapter 700, where Boruto paints the Hokage monument during Naruto's 5 Kage summit. Some of these are stories that were partially adapted into the Shippuden anime, and others, like the one that this scene from Kakashi Hiden, Lightning in the Frozen Sky, they were not adapted into the series. In the scene that we're going to be taking a look at, Kakashi has just managed to use purple lightning to discharge 100% of his chakra in a stunning display of power that left the Tsuchikage speechless. It's in the aftermath of this scene as Kakashi watches Sakura and Shikamaru leading the joint teams of Team Kuronai and Team Asuma and rounding up the prisoners who have broken out of Hozuki Castle, that Kakashi, he goes from having a smile on his face watching the two people he's had already begun investing so much into, who he would later promote to Jonin soon afterwards. But then, as he stands alongside Tsunade and Onoki, as they are faced with passing judgment on Kahyo, one of the co-leaders of the Armament Alliance that was following Madara's Infinite Tsukiyomi after he got released, they came to the conclusion that Madara was right about the shinobi system, about it needing to be changed, and the concept of removing winners and losers. After they got the chance to live a life inside of their dream world via that genjutsu, so it led to people like Kahyo having skirmishes with Naruto and Sai, where she managed to catch base Naruto's shadow clone off guard in their fight and escape, and most recently, she and her now deceased brother battled Might Guy and Kakashi on the airship that Kakashi had just rescued. But during the course of that mission for Kakashi, Kahyo's brother ended up passing away. However, the two Kage standing next to Kakashi, they want answers from Kahyo, and a wet behind the ears Kakashi, in the sense that being a Kage is still something new to him. He is forced to make a decision on what to do with the woman who attempted to massacre people inside the Land of Waves and has killed tens of people in just the last 24 hours. A woman who Kakashi has developed feelings for and has stopped her from killing herself when she was seeking out redemption through self-sacrifice. Kakashi's decision gets even more complicated when Tsunade states a huge elephant in the room, which is that this whole situation with the airship, it has damaged the reputation of the Land of Fire, and it has done damage to the Land of Waves' economic progression, which is all but her saying, without having to verbally say it, the feudal lord, the father of Madoka Ikkyo, the feudal lord that you saw in Boruto, his father being the one that was appointing Danzo as Hokage in Naruto Shippuden, the feudal lord is the guy who pays the bills for our village, and he is not pleased with having all of this go on right now, which has to be factored into Kakashi's decision. With the scene and the context being set, is here. I'm going to begin reading the selected scenes from this story, and then I'm going to come back to you guys to give more additional context for what we just had. And is here, I'm going to begin quoting. Kahyo lowered her eyes. 18 out of the 57 passengers, they are dead because of your actions. Your comrades, they are dead as well. Other than you and the pair that I locked away in the pantry, everyone else is dead. This is all your fault. Do you have anything to say about all of that? Kakashi asked. Kahyo, she bit her lip, lowered her head, and refused to meet Kakashi's gaze. Kahyo, Kakashi started. A voice from behind Kakashi interrupted. Kakashi looked back. A woman was standing there, holding her child. He narrowed his eyes. He recognized her. I'm the one you saved on that ship. The woman bowed her head, but not at Kakashi, but instead at Kahyo. You released me and my son from that ship instead of killing us. Thanks to you, he was able to get the treatment he needed. I don't forgive you and your group for what you've done to our country. She began before looking at Kakashi and continuing, but I wanted to say a word of thanks for saving my son. Kahyo, she lowered her eyes, her face twisted in anguish with tears in her eyes. Kahyo, as one of the ringleaders of this attack, you must die. So many were killed because of your actions. It's only a fitting punishment, Kakashi said. Kahyo's voice shook as she tried to reply, but it slowly held a note of readiness to accept the punishment Kakashi gave her. However, if you can prove you are a person who could be useful to the 5 great nations, then I'll reduce the sentence from death to life in prison, Kakashi said. End quote. It's at this point that Kakashi turns to Tsunade to explain his reasoning, because this is a very delicate situation, one that could upset both the feudal lord in the Land of Fire as well as the one in the Land of Earth, explaining how her ice release sealing jutsu could be used to keep the shinobi inside of Hozuki Castle that the dangerous criminal shinobi are sent to, so not the one that Boruto's team visited in the Boruto anime, but instead the more dangerous prison. It would keep them from escaping, because her ice release sealing jutsu, it forces a shinobi to release a steady flow of chakra to prevent themselves from being frozen to death. Shikamaru chimes in upon hearing how this jutsu works, and he compares it to Lord Mu, the prior prison warden from Hozuki Castle, so the ones you saw in the Blood Prison movie, who used the celestial prison sealing jutsu, which would burn the target alive if they kept molding chakra, which is why he argued it would be a better replacement and remove the 5 nations from having to rotate shinobi to guard Hozuki Castle, because Kahyo's jutsu, it would be more than effective at it. There would be no chakra for prisoners to try and escape, because all the chakra they have would be them continuously sending chakra to keep the ice release jutsu from freezing them alive. It's at this point that after Kakashi shares a moment with a crying Kahyo, that a rather embarrassing scene occurs for the 4th Raikage, ever the hothead. Upon hearing of Kahyo's skill from both Kakashi and Onoki, the Raikage, he wants to test out her power for himself, and to say that things get heated pretty quickly, it is a dire understatement. During the course of this battle, Kahyo's raw speed, it proves to be troublesome for the Raikage, and she's using no fancy jutsu. This is just her raw speed. He's left his fists with craters in the ground and in the wall. He's tried to land attacks on her, even using the lightning chakra mode and his lariat, and the entire time, Kahyo was easily and gracefully dodging the attacks by the Raikage, at one point choosing to flex on the guy by dodging his attacks while simultaneously weaving the hand signs for one of her ice release jutsu, and she tags him with it without him even realizing that it happened, which, as you'll recall, the 4th Raikage's speed and lightning chakra mode is pretty damn good. He was able to dodge Amaterasu at point blank range. Naruto needed to use full speed of KCM1 in order to get past him. And so when she did this, Kahyo purposely froze the 4th Raikage's beard with her jutsu, and she casually snapped the ice around his beard to prove her point. The whole time, he had been charging at her and using lariat and other attacks. She hadn't even been using her ice release, meaning that she could have ended that fight even sooner than she did. This was enough that even the Tsuchikage, he was openly laughing at the Raikage, calling him a brat and describing his efforts to fight Kahyo in that battle as being, quote, a pigeon taking a shot from a pea shooter, end quote, which only made him laugh even harder. This is Onoki saying that the Raikage never stood a chance. This, of course, indicates that Kakashi's decision to allow her repentance and redemption by allowing the more dangerous of the 2 Hozuki castles to be guarded by her. Not only did it prove that she was worthy of it, but she also proved that her encounters with Kakashi taught her to not use power for her own reasons, because she had every right to just outright body the 4th Raikage for even assuming that she was not up for the job, even after 2 Kage co-signed her skill. For the second time during his time as Hokage, Kakashi has granted a person who has had blood on their hands a chance at redemption to atone for their sins by serving others in their own way. He gave her the same mercy that he gave Sasuke, but as you would expect, nothing ever truly goes smoothly when you have someone like Naruto waiting in the wings, which we'll discuss in the next video and the final video for the Kakashi Hiden story. But until I upload that video, click here to enjoy more videos from the After Naruto Shippuden playlist for more stories like this, or click here to watch this video from my Anime Explained channel where I talk about other series that aren't named Naruto.